Hi, this is Bindu Bodhanapu, a spiritual wellness coach. I'm a consciousness and metaphysics researcher and a student of Ancient Mystery School. In this channel, I bring you ancient timeless wisdom for the modern world, helping you to elevate your consciousness, unlocking your potential, and lead from within. Today, we're going through As a Man Think by James Allen, written in 1903. This short book, you can finish it about an hour, but has a very powerful message. Alan wrote that this book helped people discover one truth. They themselves are makers of themselves by virtue of thoughts which they choose and encourage. He says that your mind creates both the inner garment of character and the outer garment of circumstance. This means your thoughts create who you are inside and your outside life. So let us go deep dive into this book. Thought and Character. Alan starts with a Bible quote, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." And he means this word to word. He writes, "A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. Not kind of, not sort of, really and truly." Thoughts are like seeds. Allen compares thoughts to seeds. As a plant springs from and could not come without the seed, so every act of man springs from the hidden seed of thought and could not have appeared without them. Every action you take comes from a thought first. Everything that feel automatic started as thoughts. He says act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. Think of yourself as a farmer. Your thoughts are seeds. Your actions are the plants that grow. Your results, happiness or pain, are what you harvest. How character forms. Here is something important. Alan says, a noble and godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but it is a natural result of continued effort in right thinking, the effect of long cherished association with God like thoughts. Good character isn't luck, it comes from thinking good thoughts over and over for a long time. And bad character, an ignorable and character by the same process, is the result of continued harboring of groveling thoughts. Bad character comes from thinking low level thoughts repeatedly. Your mental workshop. Here's a powerful quote: Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thoughts, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. Picture a workshop in your mind. Every day, you're either making weapons that hurt you or tools that help you. The choice is yours. Alan says you can go up the great heights by thinking right, or down below the level of the beast by thinking wrong. Everything is between is possible, and you are the one who decides. You have the power. He writes, man is the master of thought, the moulder of character, and the maker and the shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. You are a being of power, intelligent, and love, and the lord of his own thoughts. Man holds the key to every situation and contains within himself that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. The power is already inside you. You just need to wake it up. Alan says there are two types of people: the foolish people who doesn't control their thoughts and stay weak, and the wise people who learns how thoughts work and uses them well. How do you become wise? Alan is clear. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being if he will dig deep into the mine of his soul. You have to do all the work. Watch your thoughts, control them, change them, see what effects they have on you, on others, and on your life. He ends this part with only by patience, practice, and ceaseless can a man enter the door of the temple of knowledge. You need patience and constant practice. The effect of thought on circumstances. This is where Alan gets really useful. Your mind is a garden. Man's mind may be likened to a garden which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and it will bring forth. Your mind will grow something whether you take care of it or not. If no useful seeds are put into, then an abundance of useless seeds will fall in therein and will continue to produce their kind. Weeds grow by themselves. Good plants need you to plant them. What should you do? Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds and growing the flowers and fruits which he requires, so may a man tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all the wrong, useless, and impure thoughts and cultivating towards perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. When do you do this? A man sooner or later discovers that he is the master gardener of his soul and the director of his life. Your thoughts create your life. Now, the main teaching: thought and character are one, and as character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance, the outer condition of people's life will always be found to be harmonious related to his inner state. Outside life matches your inside thoughts always. But Alan explains, this does not mean that a man's circumstances at any given time are an indication of his entire character, but that those circumstances are so intimately connected with some vital thought elements within himself that, for the time being, they are indispensable to his development. Your current situation is teaching you something about a thought pattern you have. There is no such thing as luck. Alan clearly says every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him there, and in the arrangement of his life there is no element of chance, but all is the result of law which cannot err. No luck, no chance, just cause and effect. From victim to creator, man is buffeted by circumstances so long as he believes himself to be the creature of outside circumstances. But when he realizes that he is a creative power and that he may command the hidden soil and seeds of his being out of which circumstances grow, he then becomes the rightful master of himself. This is huge. Life pushes you around only when you think you're a victim. When you realize you're creating it all with your thoughts, you become the boss. Alan says that circumstances grow out of thought. Every man knows who has for any length of time practiced self control and self purification, for he will not have noticed that the alteration of his circumstances has been in exact ratio with his altered mental condition. Same amount, change your thoughts, change your life in the same proportion. What you attract. Here is a strong line. The soul attracts that which is secretly harbors, that which he loves, and also that which he fears. It reaches the height of its cherished aspirations. It falls to the level of its unchastened desires. You attract what you love and what you fear, both your highest dreams and your lowest wants. Every thought seed sown or allowed to fall into the mind and to take root there produces its own, blossoming sooner or later into act and bearing its own fruitage of opportunity and circumstance. Good thoughts bear good fruit, bad thoughts, bad fruit. Allen in this book gives 3 examples of people hurting themselves. The first example, a poor man who wants a better home but doesn't work hard and tries to cheat his boss. Allen says such a man does not understand the simplest rudiments of those principles which are the basis of true prosperity and is not only totally unfitted to rise out of his wretchedness but actually attracting to himself a still deeper wretchedness by dwelling in and acting out indolent, deceptive, and unmanly thoughts. The second example, a rich man who is sick because he eats too much. He wants to be healthy and will pay anything but wouldn't stop eating. Such a man is totally unfit to have health because he has not learned the first principle of healthy life. Third example, a boss who cheats his workers to make more money. When he loses everything, he blames circumstances, not knowing that he is the sole author of his condition. Can you see the pattern? People want good things but keep thinking and acting in the ways that create bad things. Why do bad people sometimes win? Allen explains, sometimes dishonest people get rich and honest people stay poor. What's happening? He says you can't judge someone's whole life by one thing. The dishonest man may have some admirable virtues which the other does not possess, and the honest man obnoxious vices which are absent in the others. Everyone gets results from all their thoughts, not just their one part. Why we suffer? Suffering is always the effect of wrong thoughts in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. The sole and supreme use of suffering is to purify, to burn out all that is useless and impure. Suffering burns away wrong thinking. It's like fire cleaning metal. Real success, blessedness, not material possessions, is a measure of right thoughts. Wretchedness, not lack of material possessions, is a measure of wrong thought. A man may be cursed and rich, he may be blessed and poor. Real success isn't money, it is peace inside. Stop complaining. A man only begins to be a man when he ceases to whine and revile and commences to search the hidden justice which regulates his life. Stop blaming others. Start looking for laws working in your life. Allen promises law, not confusion, is a dominating principle in the universe. Justice, not injustice, is the soul and substance of life. The universe is fair. If your life seems unfair, you don't understand how it works yet. The crystallization process. In this chapter, it is one of the most useful ideas in the whole book. The simple formula. Allen shows exactly how thoughts become real life. Men imagine that thoughts can be kept secret, but it cannot. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance. Thought becomes habit, habit becomes circumstance. This is how it works. This is the process. Some examples that Allen talks about. Bestial thoughts crystallize into habits of drunkenness and sensuality, which solidifies into circumstances of destitution and disease. Thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision crystallizes into weak, unmanly, and irresolute habits, which solidify into circumstances of fear, indigence, and slavish dependence. Lazy thoughts crystallizes into habits of uncleanliness and dishonesty, which solidify into circumstances of illness and hate, and condemnatory thoughts crystallizes into habits of accusation and violence, which solidify into circumstances of injury and persecution. Some great examples. Beautiful thoughts of all kinds crystallizes into habits of grace and kindliness, which solidifies into genial and sunny circumstances. Pure thoughts crystallizes into habits of temperance and self-control, which solidifies into circumstances of repose and peace. Energetic thoughts crystallizes into habits of cleanliness and industry, which solidify into circumstances of pleasantness. Loving and unselfish thoughts crystallizes into habits of self-forgetfulness for others, which solidify into circumstances of sure and abiding prosperity and true riches. It always works. A particular train of thoughts persisted in, be it good or bad, cannot fail to produce its results on the character and circumstances. It will always produce results, guaranteed. What you can control. A man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts and so indirectly, yet surely, shape his circumstances. You cannot change your life instantly, but you can change your thoughts right now, and they will change your future life. The universe helps. Nature helps every man to the gratification of the thoughts which he most encourages, and opportunities are presented which will most speedily bring to the surface both the good and the evil thought. The universe gives you more of what you think about. Allen promises, let a man cease from his sinful thoughts and all the world will soften towards him and be ready to help him. Let him put away his weakly and sickly thoughts, and lo, opportunities will spring up on every hand to aid his strong resolves. Change your thought and the world changes too. He ends with saying, the world is your kaleidoscope, and the varying combination of colors which at every succeeding moment is presented to you are the executively adjusted pictures of your ever moving thoughts. The effect of thoughts on health and the body. Allen doesn't just talk about the life circumstances in this book, but he also talks about health. Your body follows your mind. Your body is a servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. Your body takes order from the mind even when you don't realize it. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thoughts. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. Fear can kill. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continuously killing thousands of people just as surely, thought less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the whole body and lays it open to the entrance of disease, while impure thoughts, even if not physically indulged, will soon shatter the nervous system. Good thoughts build health. Pure, strong, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. The body is a delicate and plastic instrument which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed. Allen makes an interesting point. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man changes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. Fix your thoughts first. Your eating will naturally improve. Cleanse your thoughts, and it makes clean habits. Your face shows your thoughts. If you would protect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. Thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, despondency rob the body its health and grace. A sour face does not come by chance. It is made by sore thoughts, wrinkles that are drawn by folly, passion, and pride. Allen gives a beautiful example. I know a woman of 96 who has a bright, innocent face of a girl. I know a man well under middle age whose face is drawn into inharmonious contours. The one is the result of sweet and sunny disposition, and the other is the outcome of passion and discontent. Your usual thoughts shape your face over time. The best medicine. There is no physician like cheerful thought, like for dissipating the ills of the body. There is no comforter to compare the goodwill of dispersing the shadow of grief and sorrow. To think well of all, be cheerful withal, to be patiently learn to find good in all. Such unselfish thoughts are the very portals of heaven, and to dwell day by day in thoughts of peace towards every creature will bring abounding peace to their possession. Thoughts and purpose. Allen says thinking isn't enough by itself. You need a direction. The problem of drifting. Until thought is linked with the purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. With the majority of the bark of thoughts is allowed to drift upon the ocean of life. Many people's thoughts just float around with no goal. Aimlessly is a vice, and such drifting must not continue for him who would steer clear of catastrophe and destruction. Having no purpose is actually bad for you. What happens without purpose? They who have no central purpose in their life fall an easy prey to petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pitying, all of which are indications of weakness which lead just as surely as deliberately planned sins to failure, unhappiness, and loss. No purpose makes you weak against worry and fear. The answer. A man should conceive of legitimate purpose in his heart and set out the accomplishment. He should make his purpose the centralizing point of his thought. Pick a purpose, make everything point to you. He should make this purpose his supreme duty and should devote himself to its attainment, not allowing his thought to wander away into ephemeral fancies, longing, and imagining. This is the royal road to self control and true concentration of thoughts. Stay focused on your purpose. Don't let your mind wander into daydream. If you don't have a big purpose yet, those who are not prepared for the apprehension of great purpose should fix the thoughts upon the faultless performance of their duty, no matter how insignificant their task may appear. Just do your current job perfectly. That builds mental strength. Building mental strength. The weakest soul, knowing its own weakness and believing his truth that strength can only be developed by effort and practice, will, thus believing, at once begin to exert itself and adding effort to effort, patience to patience, and strength to strength, will never cease to develop and will at last grow divinely strong. Like building muscles, you build mental strength through practice. As the physically weak man can make himself strong by careful and patient training, so the man of weak thoughts can make them strong by exercising himself in the right thinking. Get rid of doubt and fear. Having conceived on your purpose, a man should mentally mark out a straight pathway to its achievement, looking neither to the right nor to the left. Doubt and fear should be rigorously excluded. They are disintegrating elements which break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crooked, ineffectual, and useless. Cut out doubt and fear completely. They wreck your efforts. The will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. Doubt and fear are the greatest enemies of knowledge, and he who encourages them, who does not slay them, thaws himself at every step. The win. He who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure. His every thought is allied with power, and all difficulties are bravely met and wisely overcome. Beat fear and doubt, and you beat failure. Thought, allied fearlessly to the purpose, become creative force. He who knows this is ready to becoming something higher and stronger than a mere bundle of wavering thoughts and fluctuating sensation. He who does this has become the conscious, intelligent wielder of his mental powers. The thought factor in achievement. Allen talks about success and taking responsibility. You're responsible for everything. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct results of his own thoughts. Everything. Your wins and your losses. A man's weakness and strength, purity and impurity are his own and has not another man's. They are brought about by himself and not by another, and that they can also be altered by himself, never by another. You can't blame anyone else, but also only you can change yourself. His condition is also his own and not another man's. His suffering and his happiness are evolved from within. As he thinks, so is he. As he continues to think, so he remains. You can't do the work for others. A strong man cannot help a weaker unless that weaker is willing to be helped, and even then the weak man must become strong of himself. He must, by his own efforts, develop the strength which he admires in others. Even with the help, everyone has to do their own work. About power and weakness, Alan says something interesting about oppression. The truth is that oppressor and slave are co-operators in ignorance, and while seeming to afflict each other, are in reality afflicting themselves. Both are trapped in their own thinking. He who has conquered weakness and has put away all the selfish thoughts belongs neither to oppressor nor oppressed. He is free. Rising up. A man can only rise, conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. He can only remain weak and abject and miserable by refusing to lift up his thoughts. You need first. Before a man can achieve anything, even in the worldly things, he must lift his thoughts above slavish animal indulgence. You have to think higher than just seeking pleasure. A man whose first thought is bestial indulgence could neither think clearly nor plan methodically. He could not find and develop his latent resources and would fail in any undertaking. You must give things up. There can be no progress, no achievement without sacrifice, and man's worldly success will be the measure that he sacrifices his confused animal thoughts and fixes his own mind on the development of his plans and the strengthening of his resolution and self-reliance. Your success equals to the bad thoughts you're willing to give up. Good wins eventually. The universe does not favor the greedy, the dishonest, although on the mere surface it may sometimes appear to do so. It helps the honest, magnanimous, the virtuous. Good people win in the long run. Different kinds of success. Intellectual achievements are the results of thought concentrated to the search of knowledge, or for the beautiful and the true in life and nature. The natural outgrowth of long and arduous effort and of the pure unselfish thoughts. Spiritual achievements are the consumption of holy aspirations. He who lives constantly in the conception of noble and lofty thoughts, who dwells upon all that is pure and unselfish, will, as surely as the sun reaches its zenith, the moon its full, becomes wise and noble in character and rise into a position of influence and blessedness. The simple rule: he who would accomplish little must sacrifice little. He who would achieve much must sacrifice much. He who would attain highly must sacrifice greatly. Stay alert after success. Victories attained by right thought can only be maintained by watchfulness. Many give way when success is assured and rapidly fall back into failure. Once you win, stay careful. Vision and ideals. This is one of the most beautiful part of the book. Dreamers are important. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so men, through all their trials and sins or sordid vocations, are nurtured by the beautiful visions of solitary dreamers. We need people who dream. They keep humanity going. Humanity cannot forget its dreamers. It cannot let their ideal fade and die. It lives in them. It knows them as the realities which it shall one day see and know. The big promise. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it, will make it real, not might, will. Examples from history. Columbus cherished a vision of another world and he discovered it. Copernicus fostered the vision of multiplicity of worlds and a wider universe and he revealed it. Buddha beheld the vision of spiritual world of stainless beauty and perfect peace and he entered into it. These people weren't lucky. They held a vision and made them real. What to do? Cherish your visions. Cherish your ideals. Cherish the music that stirs your heart, the beauty that transforms your mind, the loveliness that drapes your purest thoughts. For out of them will grow all delightful conditions, all heavenly environments of these. But if you remain true to them, your world will at last be built. Stay true to your vision, it will become your life. Dream big. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Your vision shows your future self. Everything great started as a dream. The greatest achievement was at first and for the first time a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn, the bird waits in the egg, and in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of reality. Every big thing started as a dream. Inside change makes outside change. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they still are not long remains. So, if you perceive an ideal and strive to reach it, you cannot travel within and stand still without. You can't grow inside and stay the same outside. It is impossible. The story of a poor young man. Alan tells a beautiful and a powerful story. Here is a youth hard pressed by poverty and labor, confined long hours of unhealthy workshop, unschooled and lacking all the art of refinement. But this young man dreams of better things. He thinks of intelligence, of refinement, of grace and beauty. He conceives of mentally built up and ideal conditions of life. The vision of a wider liberty and a larger scope takes possession of him. What happens? Very soon, as altered by his mind becomes that the workshop can no longer hold him. It has become so out of harmony with his mentality that it falls out of his life as a garment as it cast aside. But inside, change made his outside situation impossible to stay in. Years later, we find him a master of certain forces of the mind, which he wields with a worldwide influence and almost unequaled power. He has realized a vision of his youth. He has become one with his ideal. You will make your vision real, and you too, youthful reader, will realize the vision of your heart. B is the base or the beautiful or the mixture of both, for you will always gravitate towards which you secretly most love. You become what you think about the most. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. You will become as small as you controlling desires, as great as your dominant aspirations. There is no such thing as luck. People see successful people and call them lucky, but Alan says the thoughtless, the ignorant, and the indolent seeing only the apparent effect of things and not the things themselves, talk of luck, of fortune, or chance. They do not see the trials and failures and struggles which these men has voluntarily encountered in order to gain this experience, have no knowledge of the sacrifices they have made, of the undaunted efforts they have put forth, of the faith they have exercised, that they might overcome the apparently insurmountable and realize the vision of the heart. They do not see the long, arduous journey, but also behold the pleasant goal and the good fortune. Do not understand the process, but you only perceive the results and call it a chance. Serenity. The final chapter is all about staying calm. Calmness is precious. Calmness of mind is one of the most beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is a result of long and patient effort and self-control. Its presence is an indication of ripened experience and of a more than ordinary knowledge of the laws and operation of thoughts. Calmness doesn't happen fast, it takes time and practice. Understanding makes you calm. A man becomes calm in the measure that he understands himself as a thought, evolved being. For such knowledge necessitates the understanding of others as a result of thought. When you understand that everyone is shaped by the thought, you stop judging and getting upset. As he develops a right understanding and sees more and more clearly the internal relation of things by the action of cause and effect, he ceases to fuss and fume and worry and grieve and remain poised, steadfast, and serene. Calm people have power. The calm man, having learned how to govern himself, knows how to adapt himself to others, and they in turn reverence his spiritual strengths, and he feel they can learn of him and rely upon him. People naturally respect and trust calm people. The more tranquil a man becomes, the greater is his success, his influence, his power for good. Even the ordinary trader will find his business prosperity increase as he develops a greater self-control and equanimity. What calm people are like. The strong, calm man is always loved and revered. He is like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land or a sheltering rock in a storm. Calmness is valuable, the executive poise of character, which we call serenity, is the last lesson of culture, the fruitage of the soul. It is as precious as a wisdom, more to be desired than gold, that even fine gold. Calmness is worth more than gold. Most people hurt themselves. How many people we know who soar their lives, who ruin all the sweetness and beautiful by explosive tempers, who destroy the poise of characters and make bad blood. It is a question whether the great majority of people do not ruin their lives and mar their happiness by the lack of self-control. Most people wreck their own happiness by losing control. The final words. Self-control is the strength. Right thought is the mastery. Calmness is power. Say unto your heart, peace, be still. So let me wrap up this wonderful book by James Allen. The main ideas in this book. You are literally what you think. Your character is all your thoughts added together. Your mind is a garden. Take care of it on purpose, or weed will grow automatically. Your life becomes from your thoughts. Your outside life matches your inside thoughts. No luck is involved. how it works. Thoughts becomes habits, habits become life circumstances. This is the process. Your body follows your mind. Health and sickness comes from your thought patterns. Give your thought a purpose. Thinking without direction leads to weakness. Success needs sacrifice. You must give up low thoughts to get high results. Keep your vision. Whatever dream you hold in your heart, you will make real if you stay true to it. Calmness is the price. Being calm comes from understanding how thoughts work. Alan writes, a man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts and so indirectly yet surely shape his circumstances. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control your thoughts, and your thoughts will create your life. The work you need to do. This isn't easy, Alan says. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained. You have to work at it. Watch your thoughts, control them, change them. See how cause and effect works through practice and patience. He promises that through patience, practice, and ceaselessness, importunity, you can prove that. You make your own character, you shape your life, you build your own future. So, Alan finally says, man has but to right himself to find that the universe is right, and during the process of putting himself right, he will find that as he alters his thoughts towards things and other people, things and other people will alter towards him. Fix yourself, and the world fixes itself around you. Right now, your thoughts are planting seeds. In weeks and months, these seeds will become habits. In years, these habits will become your life. But the good news, you can change your thoughts today, and when you do, everything else will change around you. Remember Alan's final words. Self-control is strength, right thoughts is mastery, calmness is power. Thank you for watching. If this has helped you, like and subscribe to my channel. I bring the most powerful, timeless books and ancient wisdom to really help you change your life. Thank you. See you with the next book.